Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ground and Pound podcast. Quick picks video for UFC Baku. Hill taking on Rountree over in Azerbaijan. And as always, if you're enjoying the content here, hit that like and subscribe button. And you know what the quick picks is all about. Rapid fire, hitting you with the picks in 15 minutes or less. Full card breakdown, confident level traffic light system. And if you need your picks quick, this video is for you as we start off in the early prelims here with Hamdi Abdul Wahab taking on Muhammad Usman. Give me Usman here. Not confident. It's hard to be confident in an Usman fight here. 36 years old. I just think here that Usman's jab is just going to be enough. I think he's going to keep this fight out at range, use his reach advantage. I think the boxing of Usman's a little bit more technical than Hamdi. Hamdi is an Egyptian wrestler, but he tends to only be able to wrestle for one round. As we saw in his last fight, he does get pretty tired. I don't think he can really push a pace here. I think that the reach and the jab is going to be enough for Usman to ultimately win a decision here with his boxing. I think he can keep this one on the feet and just jab, use his striking, use his range, and get this one done. But as I said, hard to be confident. And next up, we have Azat Maxim taking on Tagir Ulanbekov. And give me Tagir here. I think that the Dagestani wrestling is going to be all she wrote. I think he's going to control Azamat on the ground for 3 rounds. Super confident in him this week. Azamat is stepping in on somewhat short notice to replace one of Tagir's old opponents. Azamat does have decent grappling, but not to the extent that Tagir does with the wrestling here. I think we just get a decision here, maybe even a late submission. But I ultimately think Tagir gets it done with the wrestling. Whether that be a decision or a submission. And next up, we have Claudia Sigul taking on Aaran Alekseevov. And give me Alekseevov. I mean, to be honest with you, this is dog shit taking on horse shit. I always like to reference these poor women's fights as that. But I just think that Aaran is going to be more aggressive. She did have a fairly decently impressive knee bar finish over Stephanie Edgar. I just don't think Claudia is UFC level. I just think that Aaran is going to be a little bit more aggressive to come forward. I think that's going to be looking good in the judges' eyes. But this fight's terrible. Neither of these women should be in the UFC, but give me Aaran. I think that she's going to at least pressure forward and be the aggressor, which is going to look good to the judges. She might even get a finish on the ground also, but I think that she gets it done. Very low confidence pick. And next up, we have Daria Zelennikov taking on Melissa Mullins. Give me Mullins, man. This is a rematch. Mullins was able to get the first round ground and pound victory in their first fight here. I just think that Daria can't defend takedowns. She struggles to get this fight on the feet and keep it where she wants it. I think Mullins' grappling is going to be far too much for her, just like it was in the first fight. Mullins is a double gold no-gi jiu-jitsu world champion. I just think that she's going to be able to find a submission or ground and pound victory here. I wouldn't be surprised if Daria is able to defend some takedowns and ultimately last for a decision, but I think it's going to be one-way traffic. I think Mullins gets it done with the grappling again. And next up, we have Jung Young Park taking on Asmal Nurdiev. And give me Park, man. I think Park, the Iron Turtle, I think that he gets it done again here. I just think, to be honest with you, with Park, his forward pressure and his ability to keep shooting takedowns and be relentless, his boxing is going to be a key factor here, just to get the guard up of Nurdiev, get the hands up. That's going to allow him to shoot in for the legs. Nurdiev likes to blast kicks. He does have decent wrestling as well. I think that the pace of Park and just his ability to keep moving forward, having the better cardio, wear down Nurdiev over the course of 3 rounds, and just smother him so he can't use his kicks is what's going to be the factor here in this fight. I think this is actually a step down for Park in terms of the UFC. I do think that the UFC is pretty high on Nurdiev, but I think Park overall, his cardio and his wrestling and his iron chin is going to be enough here to get it done. Medium level confidence pick here, as I do think that he's not the better striker out of the two, but his wrestling and cardio should be able to get it done. And next up, we have Sekyun Ko taking on Oban Elliott. I do lean ever so slightly here to Oban Elliott. I might even change this one to a red pick if I'm being honest, because I do think that Ko's southpaw stance, he's probably the better striker. He's the first ever Korean Sambo world champion. So I do think that Elliott might struggle here to get this fight to the ground. Oban Elliott's not necessarily the most potent finisher. His boxing is fairly decent, but I think this one could be a little bit closer than maybe the odds do suggest. I do think Oban Elliott's going to be able to pull it out, though. Maybe a lot more clinching against the fence. Just making this a dirty fight overall, but give me the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott, medium level confidence, maybe even a little bit lower, but give me the Welsh gangster to get it done. And next up, we have Mohamed Naimov taking on Bogdan Grad. And again, this is another one I think is a very close fight, but I'm going to go with Naimov, world champion in Taekwondo. Both guys very, very, I think, evenly matched here. I think both guys have fantastic array of strikes. They can throw spinning kicks. They can blitz you with the hands. They both can grapple. I just trust Naimov a little bit more in terms of what, as a finished product inside the UFC. We've seen him fight now, I think it's 4 or 5 times. So we know what we're getting. Bogdan Grad just finished a Lucas Alexander, who's not UFC level, not necessarily a great win. So just a slight lean here to Naimov to get it done on the judges' scorecards. I think this one goes the distance, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bogdan Grad does have his moments, but give me Naimov here to mix in the wrestling and the striking and ultimately get it done on the scorecards. And next up, we have Nicholas Marta taking on Nazim Sadikov. And I'm very confident here in Sadikov. Trains out of Longo Gym with some high-level guys like Aljamain Sterling, for example. He obviously spars and trains with guys that are a much higher level than Nicholas Marta. Marta, to me, is very chinny. I believe it's 4 of his last 5 losses have all come by him getting knocked out. I think Sadikov gets it done inside the distance, either in round 1 or 2, most likely by knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does get the submission victory also. And next up, we have Tafu Musiev taking on Mutabek Orobai. Some absolute crazy names to try to pronounce fast, but give me Orobai here. I think Orobai is just going to be able to get this done with the wrestling. I think he took a lot of damage in his last fight. I think he looks to get this fight to the ground, maybe look for a submission. I believe Musiev, I believe 3 of his losses have all come via him being submitted. I do think that Musiev's striking is decent, probably the better striker out of the 2, but I just think that Mutabek Orobai is going to come in here, team alpha male style, get the wrestling going, push a wrestle heavy game plan, maybe look for the submission or ultimately win a decision with the wrestling. But I think Orobai gets it done here. He showed his toughness, he showed he can strike, but I think his wrestling is going to be the big factor here in this one. And next up, we have Curtis Blades taking on Rizan Kunyev. And who can be confident in this fight? Kunyev got popped for steroids back in the PFL. Now he's signed to the UFC. We haven't really seen a whole lot out of him. He looks like a completely different man. He's completely out of shape on the Contender Series with his knee KO victory. Curtis Blades decides he doesn't want to wrestle him fight, so it's pretty hard to pick a Curtis Blades fight. If he wrestles here, I think that he can get it done. But honestly, who knows? Very low confidence here. Curtis Blades is going to be the pick. Not confident. Moving on. And next up, the co-main event, we have Rafael Fiziev taking on Ignacio Bahamundes. Give me Bahamundes, man. I think that the 6'3" frame here at lightweight is going to give Fiziev problems. He's got very nice front chokes and very nice Darces, anacondas. I think the striking at the range and the reach advantage here is going to be all she wrote. He trains with Bilal Muhammad, the former champion, on his grappling and his wrestling. And don't get me wrong, Fiziev is very good. His kickboxing is very good. His forward pressure is very good. I just think he's going to struggle to get on the inside here against a tall, rangy Bahamundes. So give me Bahamundes. Fairly confident, medium level confidence, maybe even a little bit higher. Bahamundes gets it done. The Chilean is going to be a problem here at lightweight. And the main event of the evening, we have Khalil Rountree Jr. taking on Jamal Hill. Give me Rountree, man. I don't trust Jamal Hill. Where his head's been at since he's been knocked out by Alex Pereira, I've not trusted him. But I will say, Rountree Jr. is getting up there in age, so it's not unlikely that Hill's able to pull this one off and kind of get a comeback victory here, much needed one for his career. But I'm going to go with Rountree. I think that the Muay Thai style, I think he's going to be able to chip away at that front lead leg of Hill. I don't think either guy grapples. I think we see a back and forth striking match here. But give me Rountree to get it done here to round out this full card breakdown, quick pick style. And as always, if you're enjoying the content here on the Ground and Pound podcast, hit that like and subscribe button, 15 minutes or less. As always, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.